It's risky making this video right after I made a data science video that people really enjoyed. And so I get these new subscribers and they're presumably subscribing because I'm smart and going to teach them things. I am smart and I will teach you things, but also I have made poor choices. I've lost money and I am going to take this opportunity. Once again, I made this video or video like this a while ago, months ago, but just an update video on how to lose money, and hopefully you can learn not to and not lose money. Greed is the name of the game. The thing about greed is that if it works out, it's not greed. You were a brilliant mastermind, but if it doesn't work out, you're greedy, right? If you invest in a stock, if you put your life savings into SpaceX, it's greed until it works. If it works, then you're just super, super smart, right? Or buying tons and tons of Pokemon on credit cards. It's greedy, but then if you're able to sell it and make money, you weren't greedy, you're a mastermind. But if it doesn't work out, you're greedy. And so here's an example of all the times I was greedy because it didn't work out. So let's talk about buying Jumpstart. Jumpstart Magic the Gathering has a history of, it comes out and just a little bit comes out. And when that little bit comes out, the expected value is super high. This is what happened with, I believe, original Jumpstart, although I wasn't as deep in the game back then. This was the case absolutely with Foundations Jumpstart. When it first came out, that first week or two, the expected value of those booster boxes was like $200-300. It was crazy, and you could buy them for $100. And so it was just printing money. And then history repeats itself again with the Marvel Jumpstart, where once again the expected value of these boxes is like $300+. You're able to buy them at release for $100. Now they're like $150, $160. And even now with these prices, in theory, you can rip it open and make money. But with Foundations Jumpstart, I did not pre-order Foundations Jumpstart. I was like, I don't know enough about this product. I'm not going to do it. But then it came out and I saw all the money that fellow people on fellow Discords and channels and WeChats and whatever were making. And then I was like, okay, well, you can buy the box for $100. You can open it up and sell the cards inside for $300. Easy play. Well, lo and behold, shortly after, and this has happened now every time. It's happened with Jumpstarts back in the day. It happens with Marvel Jumpstart right now. And it happened with Foundations Jumpstart, which was the time that I really lost my shirt on, is that shortly after the initial release, there's another wave. There's more product. And with this Marvel Jumpstart, they've given us a few weeks, actually, for us to kind of bask in the glory of the cool cards and for the prices to go up. But for Foundations Jumpstart, it was not that long. I mean, more boxes were hitting the market and prices were crashing just like a week after official release. It was wild. And so I had bought on eBay a bunch of boxes, and they basically arrived at my house when prices crashed. And so I opened them up. I tried to sell singles, but at the end of the day, I lost money. What's the moral of the story? Sometimes when you see a bunch of people have bought something and made a bunch of money on it, sometimes by then it's too late. Sometimes it isn't, though. So there isn't exactly a clear moral here, except for, I guess, very specifically with Jumpstart products with Magic the Gathering, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. Like, don't buy Marvel Jumpstart today with the intention of ripping it and reselling it. You can pre-order on different sites like Forge and Fire. You can pre-order a Marvel Jumpstart for like $115 or $105 or whatever. And I would honestly wait. I think this product's going to come out. I think it's going to crash, and you'll be able to get these boxes for like $100. And I think it's a good product. I think the price will go back up eventually. Maybe not anytime soon, though. I would just not be in a rush to buy Marvel Jumpstart unless you're going to enjoy the product for yourself. But moral of the story, be careful. If you see everyone else making money doing something, the ship might have already passed. Your opportunity might already be gone. Right. Second example was, so buying collections. In general, buying collections from people is an excellent way to make money. You buy a full collection from somebody for 70% market value. You sell it for market value on TCG Player or eBay or whatever. I sell mostly on TCG Player. You walk away with money. After shipping and fees, you're making like 15 to 20% or something like that off of a collection. It's pretty good. You spend $700 for a $1,000 collection. You take home $150 to $200. Not bad. Where that doesn't work, though, is if that $1,000 collection, there's a lot of, not all $1,000 collections are created equal. Maybe that's obvious. Maybe it's not obvious. it is very possible for you to have $1,000 collection that's actually not really worth very much at all. For example, if you have $1,001 cards, I, as a reseller, am not very attracted to that. It'd be a pain in the butt. I mean, if they are, honestly, if they're high velocity, like in demand commander singles, $1,001 cards, that doesn't sound too bad. But if it's 1,000 junk cards that don't sell, then your collection might really only be worth like $50 and a high five. You know, it's just, it really depends on the liquidity of your collection. How easy is it to sell? So some cards to watch out for. That being said, foreign language cards, watch out, right? It's like, oh, this Japanese, you know, Twin Flame Tyrant, whatever, is worth $100. It's in specialty foil, whatever. Yeah, guess what? Nobody buys those. It's just going to sit there on TCG Player, and the price might go down eventually. Old foil cards, right? So it's like, oh, this is a foil card from original Cold Snap. It's worth $100. No, it's not. Nobody's buying it for $100, you know? So you just got to watch out. So old foil cards, foreign language cards, low value cards, right? So if somebody's like, my collection's worth $1,000 and it's 2,050-cent cards, no, it's not. Do not spend 70% market on a bunch of 50-cent cards. So watch out. I have lost my shirt on collections this way. This has happened. Greed. The greed got to me. Right. Okay. So third one, and then there's one more after this, and then we're going to call it a night. So buying into trading card games that you don't understand. I have lost money buying One Piece. Not many times. This has only happened a couple times, but I've lost money buying One Piece. I've lost money buying Pokemon. You might say, Nick, how can you possibly lose money buying Pokemon? I've done it, baby. I've been there. I've done that. But, you know, in hindsight, I definitely should have just like stuck the stuff in a closet and just not tried to move it. But at the time, it felt like I should just move it and recoup losses. But anyways, what's the point? The point is like, know what you're buying. I mean, today's market, though, is so different than it was back in like 2024. It's so much on fire now. So maybe this piece of advice isn't actually that helpful. Maybe if you can get One Piece or Pokemon or whatever, just do it. But at the same time, be careful because, I don't know, just putting money into the things you know, right? People say invest in what you know. If you know stocks, if you know real estate, if you know trading cards, if you know how to make money with these things, it's a good place to put your money. If you don't know real estate, just because you hear people talk about real estate, oh, you can make lots of money in real estate, don't get into real estate if you don't know anything about real estate. And so similarly, if you don't know anything about Pokemon, don't do it. Just don't do it. If you don't know anything about Magic, you should learn. You should learn about Magic because Magic's really cool. But you get my point. So buying card games I don't understand was a way that I've lost money. And the last one, and this one actually is probably the most greedy of all the greed that we've talked about in this video, which is you see a deal that's just too good to be true. I've told this story before. Modern Horizons 3 was coming out. There was a Shopify website that was selling collector booster boxes for like $300 or something like that, which in hindsight, well, with what I know now, that was below distribution cost. I'm pretty sure it's $300. I'm pretty sure distribution cost was like $330 or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I just know I learned at some point, I can't remember the exact numbers, but I did learn that whatever I bought it for, it was below distribution cost, which it was a pre-order too. So it's just absolutely ridiculous. Anyways, I pre-ordered Modern Horizons 3 collector booster boxes for below distribution cost. Very wise of me. And yeah, it was a scam. You knew where this was going. I didn't know where that was going. I wouldn't have done it if I knew it was a scam, but it was a scam. Luckily, I was able to do work with Shopify and do credit card chargeback, and one of those two things worked. I can't remember which. But that wasn't enough to teach me my lesson because later I bought booster boxes for below market price, like significantly below market price. Just the rule of thumb is if the deal is too good to be true, it's too good to be true. If you can't replicate that deal anywhere, if it's not a trusted source, there's these websites you can Google like, hey, is Forge and Fire trusted? Is Stomping Grounds trusted? You can find that out really quickly. If there's a website that's just you've never heard of it before, never used it before, and they're selling, The Hobbit for $500 pre-order, the question is why? Why would they do that? Why would they sell it for so low? And the reason is because it's a scam. So watch out. Also, if you're watching this video and The Hobbit actually is $500 a booster box market price, then that's not a scam, and congratulations, because us in the past are pre-ordering for like $800. It's crazy out here. All right. Good times, y'all. I am a greedy person, but I'm also a learning person, and I have taken these opportunities to learn. If you are not too full of pride to share your greed, let us know in the comment section, stuff to watch out for. Have you lost your shirt on Magic products or trading cards in general? That advice can really help people. I wish I had this advice, years ago. So, good times, y'all. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.